Hi, my name's Melissa, and let me tell you right now that I can't believe that something like this happened in my family. One day, I came back home and saw our town priest in our house talking to my parents. They all looked very serious while they were having their conversation. After they finished, my dad went upstairs and my mom stayed with the priest in the living room. I could hear that they were all talking about something. I couldn't hear everything because they were whispering. It made me so damn curious. I eventually gave up on the eardropping and went to my room. I started to think about what I saw in the living room, and the thing that bothered me the most is that my mom gave him money secretly, and he smirked as a reply. Yeah, that's right. He smirked. Like the flirty smirk, you know? I couldn't sleep all night because of what I saw and heard last night. In the morning, I got ready for school, and on my way there, I saw the priest walking in the opposite direction. I wondered if he was headed towards our house. Luckily, he didn't see me, and I immediately followed him just to see if he was really going to our house. As he was walking, I was hiding behind the cars, trees, and bushes, so he would not see me spying on him. He finally reached the street that I live on and walked right to our house's porch. He knocked on the door, and my mom opened it for him. I mean, it was still very early in the morning. Why would he come to our house, especially if my dad was not home? I sneaked into our backyard and tried to peep through the window where they were. I was tiptoeing, trying to see what they were doing. It was very hard to see anything, but I took a glimpse and saw them kissing. I was shocked and I fell down and made a noise that made my mom come to the window and look what happened. She didn't see me because I hid right away. It looked very suspicious, but I wanted to know more before I judge and perhaps ruin my parents' marriage. Anyway, I rushed to school because I was already late. I got to my class and thought, what could I do to figure out what was happening? I mean, this priest is everywhere, and all the time he's with my mom. I just know they're together. I just know it. I could see that this priest is a no good, and I have to get rid of him. I had to expose them or something, but I couldn't just ask them what they were doing and tell them that I've spied on them. This would have ruined the trust between us. As I was in class, they announced that we will have the priest coming to our school to make a speech. Yeah, I was in a religious school, so we often had someone coming to school from the church. Anyway, I thought this would be my chance. What if I could make my mom come to school and get them to talk? And that was when I thought, what if I don't need to call my mom, but my school will have to? And my mom will have to come because her daughter did something bad to the priest at the school. So while the priest was doing his speech, I called him bad names and threw papers at him, and I even made him fall in front of the whole school. The principal was very mad and even wanted to expel me from school and called my mom to come pick me up, but the priest said, no need, I'm fine, and no one got hurt. She didn't mean that. Ugh, seriously? I thought to myself. The principal agreed and let me off with only one detention for a week. I got back home from school and my mom said that tomorrow we'll go to the church because it's my parents' anniversary. Please, not again. I was already tired of seeing the priest every day, but I also wanted to go check on if it was all a big misunderstanding. My mom woke me up the next day and told me to get ready. We got to the church and sat inside. We arrived just in time for the church service. And you guessed it, our priest is doing the service. Everything was so quiet, no one made a sound. Everyone was sitting and praying quietly, so I felt better that it was just a big misunderstanding. And just when I calmed down, I saw the priest while he was doing his duties and saying the prayers, winking at my mother, who was sitting next to her husband, aka my dad. I looked at my mom straight away and saw her smiling. She was smiling to him. Just when I calmed down, it all got complicated again. Ugh! How did my dad not notice them? Is it just me? Like, how could it be? I could not take this anymore, so I stood up and yelled in front of all the people that my mom and the priest are having an affair. Everyone looked at me. My parents stood up immediately, and as my mom dragged me out of the church, I could hear Dad saying, "I'm sorry, she didn't take her medication," as he stood right in front of everyone and ran out after us. They got me in the car and drove me home, and I became so angry I started yelling. Why did we run? The priest is still in the church. He has all the answers. Mom is cheating on you, Dad. I said that as tears were running down my cheeks. My parents didn't say a word for the whole ride back home. As we got there, we all sat down in the living room and they asked me about what I saw. So I explained everything, every single detail, and as I was explaining, I could see that my mom was holding back her tears. So I asked her why she was crying. Without a word, she left the room. So my dad said, "The priest that you are always seeing is not real, and we weren't in a church today. We were at the mall." Honey, you are diagnosed with schizophrenia, and at the mental hospital, they gave you medicine that can help, but unfortunately, it gave you a lot of pain, so we wanted to try not to give you the medication and to give you back your normal, good life. But unfortunately, your disorder became worse, so me and Mom decided to see if you would maybe feel better being at your house, room, and your bed. That maybe somehow it will be easier for you. But unfortunately, we have to take you back to the hospital again, so you will start taking your medications again. But don't worry, we will be with you all the time. Me and your mom will never leave your side, and remember that we always love you. Please go get ready, so we will go now. I didn't believe what I heard. I just stood up and went to get ready. I told my dad that I will be ready soon. I knew that he was lying to me. I knew that he was just protecting my mom. I didn't believe a single word that came out of his mouth. I went to my room and decided to escape from my window and to know the truth, the only truth, from that priest. As my parents were downstairs, I took a bag with my stuff in it and ran away. I ran as fast as I could. I did not even look back. I ran and ran and ran until I was just too tired and did not know where else to go. I felt scared, betrayed, sad, and just didn't know what to do. But one thing for sure was that I will not come back home until I find out the truth about that priest. I was walking along the road as I remembered that my childhood friend Nathan lives nearby, so I decided to stay at his house. He was the only person I had left that I could trust. I finally arrived to his place and I couldn't knock on the door because it was already late and his parents were sleeping, so I climbed up to his room. I climbed on his branch that was close to his window and went inside. He was asleep, and I didn't want to wake him up, so I had laid there on the floor next to his bed quietly and fell asleep. The next morning, I woke up to Nathan screaming at me, saying, "Who are you? Who are you? What are you doing in my house?" I said, It's me, Nathan. Stop playing around. You'll just wake your parents up. How do you know my name?" "Mom, Dad." He started calling his parents, so I got scared and jumped out the window and ran away. I mean, what is wrong with him? Why was he acting like that? Nathan can be so weird sometimes. Never mind, I was back to completing my mission, finding that priest. I went to a drugstore to buy some food with the money I had in my pocket. I entered and saw my friend from school, Alec. He was working there as a cashier. He saw me and smiled and said, "Oh my God, is that you, Melissa?" as he was running up to me to give me a hug. "Yeah, it's me. Long time no see." He asked me what I was doing here all alone and why I looked like some homeless. I told him that I'm looking for my real parents and that I'm adopted. My non-biological parents told me that they have adopted me and that I still have my biological father out there somewhere in this town, and I want to find him now, I said. He was shocked. He gave me food and told me to wait for him for 1 hour till his shift ends, and then he will help me to go find my real father. As Alec's shift ended, we went straight on searching for him. I told Alec that he lives next to a church, so we went to find the church. As we got there, the church was closed, so we decided to go to the town next to ours to check the church there. We took the train, and it took about an hour to get there. The whole train was full of people, and only a place for 2 was empty, so we sat down right next to each other. I was so nervous because I've never been so close to a guy before. There was a silence between us, so we just sat down, and then Alec broke down the ice and said that we should eat our snacks, and I totally agreed. We started eating and had a great conversation with laughter. We laughed so hard that my stomach hurt. Then we got to the right station. Alec grabbed my hand tightly and led us out of the train. We looked at the map and found the closest church. Alec went to ask some people directions while I was standing aside. What he didn't know was that I had brought a knife with me. I was going to end this story once and for all. As we arrived at the church, I told Alec that we should go inside. There were a few people getting ready for the service that was about to start soon, and when I looked around, I saw him. I saw that priest. Oh my God, I found him. I told Alec that he should sit and hold the clothes while I go closer. I got closer to him. Alec started yelling, "Melissa! Melissa, take the medicine. Do not resist." I looked back at the priest and he is gone. He's not there anymore. I started to breathe heavily and fainted. When I opened my eyes, I saw my hands and legs were tied to a hospital bed. I looked around and saw some people looking at me. They approached me and said, "Oh, darling, you woke up. It's us, honey. Your mom and dad." I panicked. They weren't my real parents. I started screaming, "You are not my parents. Where is Alec? Where is he? Where is Alec? Where is my real dad?" They started crying, saying to the men in white robes, "Give her the medicine." As they injected something in my vein, I felt so calm and peaceful. When I woke up, I opened my eyes and felt someone was laying their head on me and holding my hand. I screamed and let go of their hand. It was a woman. She stood up and told me, "Honey, it's me, your mother." And this is your father." As a man walked in, she said, "Please believe us." I denied and told her that it can't be true, asking her, "Where is my real dad and my friend Alec?" "Alec does not exist, sweetie. Unfortunately, you have been outside the hospital for almost 5 years now, and you don't have friends. We are your parents. Please listen to us," she said. "Yeah, I remember now," I replied. "You are my real parents." I said that with a big smile and opened my arms wide open for a hug. They both cried and came up to me and hugged me tightly. "We are so happy that you remembered us, honey. We missed you so much," they said. "Me too," I replied. Great, I thought to myself. They believed me. Now I can go find my real parents and Ashley, my sister, as well. I will show them who's telling the truth. I will prove to those people that I'm right. They thought they could fool me? Pathetic. Ha! They are all so naive. I mean, I will be out of this place in no time. I can work on my plan and escape while they desperately believe that I believe their lies that they have told me. I mean, I know I'm not sick. It's impossible. I'm perfectly fine, and I will prove that they are the sick ones and not me. I thought to myself, I have been stuck in this prison for almost a year now, and I'm still trying to figure it out. How the hell to get out of here? I started to talk with this guy that was volunteering to work in the hospital. He looked kind of cute, and most importantly, he looked very stupid, and I thought I could manipulate him quite easily. I started to talk to him when everyone was having a break. I went straight up to him and started a conversation with him. "What's your name, may I ask?" "And your age," I said. He then looked at me and replied, "My name is Troy, and I'm 19 years old." "Oh, I see. Do you work here?" "No, I'm volunteering here for 2 months, and then I'll go back to my hometown," he responded. "Oh," I thought to myself, I have only 2 months or less. I gotta act quickly. Then every time I go to see him, I try to get closer to him. Eventually, after almost 2.5 weeks, he confronted me and he said, "Melissa, I think I'm into you," and kissed me on the cheek while no one was around. I blushed so hard and kissed him back. He was mine. I started to tell him about how my parents were mistreating me and the way no one believed me and that I just needed to get out of there. I told him, "Troy, let's run away from here and live together." He looked at me and kissed me on the cheek and he said that we have to be very careful. If we get caught, I will be sent to jail and you'll be locked in here forever. I already knew that, but that was my only chance to get out of there. One day before all the volunteers would leave the hospital, Troy prepared me clothes and a wig and put it on my bed on his last shift. And when the next day came, I put on the clothes and the wig Troy brought me quickly, held Troy's hand, and together we left with the rest of the volunteers group. I was so relieved that my plan worked. It was time to show everyone that I wasn't the sick one, but my parents. Anyway, when we finally arrived at Troy's place, he let me use the shower, made me a really good meal, and gave me warm clothes. And I couldn't even remember when the last time was that I felt such comfort and kindness. I thought that I will never have a chance to experience that from a stranger, or even anyone at all. Apparently, Troy was not a mere stranger after all. However, I couldn't afford to get distracted at that point. I had to remind myself of why I was there and why I was doing what I was doing. I planned on finishing what I started and then going back to Troy because I felt like I might have had some feelings for him, so I didn't want to lose him. When Troy left for the mall where he worked, he left me alone so I could rest. But instead, I got on his computer and started searching my parents' names to see what would come up. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything, so I thought that maybe it would be a good idea to visit Troy at the mall, since it was already evening and his shift was about to end. On my way there, as I was walking on a small street, I heard some voice coming from behind the dumpster. All the lights there weren't working. I tried to look at what was going on there, but it was too dark, so I decided to go a little closer and see what the noise was that I heard. I was really anxious and scared to look behind the dumpster when I approached it. I gathered my courage and decided to look, but as I started to move forward, I heard Troy's voice saying, "Melissa, what are you doing here?" Oh my God, he scared the hell out of me that my heart nearly stopped. I looked back at him with a scared but relieved face. "I came to see you and got distracted a little bit," I said with a humble smile. He looked at me, gave me his hand and said, "Here, take my hand and let's get back home. You look tired. We should get a rest." I nodded and grabbed his hand and we went home. We showered, ate dinner together, and went to bed. I couldn't sleep much because I was overthinking the voice that I had heard before. That voice sounded familiar to me, and I was sure that I had heard my name as well. I opened my eyes to see Troy kissing my forehead goodbye before going to work. I smiled and said, "See you after work, babe." He smiled at me and left. I stood up shortly after, brushed my teeth, and went to the kitchen to make myself breakfast. As I was preparing it, I felt very sick. I ran straight to the bathroom, and when I got out, I took some medicine to help prevent vomiting and make my stomach calm down. I had to skip breakfast. Time passed, and when the sun was almost setting, I went to that small and dark street where that weird noise came from the other day. I went straight to see what was behind that dumpster. I just looked behind it, and there was nothing. I thought then that maybe I was just imagining. But then I turned my head slightly to the left and saw a writing on the other side of the dumpster that said, "I know that you are free, Melissa. I'm watching you." What? What did I just read? I mean, who wrote that? Who could it be? I left and went to the mall to see Troy. I entered the store that he worked at only to see that he was helping a female customer. He was acting very weird next to her. I thought that maybe he didn't love me like he was saying he did. 2 weeks haven't passed and he's already flirting with another girl? I decided to do what every girl would. I went right up to them and told Troy that we need to talk. He replied, "I need to finish helping the customer first, then we can talk." I was so annoyed, so I looked at the girl and she evilly smiled at me. Ugh, so he chose to stay with her over me? I just turned around and walked away. I mean, does she know him? He acted very weirdly around her. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, I started to head out of the mall feeling so hungry. I decided to enter a restaurant nearby to eat something, as I remembered that we ran out of food at home. When I sat down, a waitress brought me the menu and asked me if I would like to order. I looked up at her. She looked very familiar to me. I looked at her name tag. It said Veronica. Maybe she reminded me of someone, but I wasn't sure who. Anyway, some time had passed in the restaurant. I finished my meal, stood up, and went to pay. The cashier's tag said Veronica. "Keep the change, Veronica," I said. "Oh, thank you, but my name is Ashley. I lost my name tag and borrowed my coworker's," she replied. "Ashley? Oh my God, yes, I knew it. I knew it was her." I immediately said, "Ashley, it's me, Melissa, your sister." She smiled as a reply and added, "Oh my God, Melissa, I didn't think I would ever see you again. I remember how our parents sent me to our grandparents to take care of me while they were treating you. I thought you were at the mental hospital. They released me because I'm much better now. And by the way, do you know where our parents are now? They haven't visited me for a while now. I would like to see them. I miss them," I said. Ashley looked at me confusedly and said, "Melissa, our mom is in prison. She's been there for 5 years now. And unfortunately, our father passed away." Wait, that can't be true. I saw them a year ago when they captured me at the hospital. So she said that dad is gone, which actually kind of makes sense now. So mom is the only one with the truth about the priest that I need to find out. Oh, that's too bad. I missed them so much. Wow, I can't believe that. Anyway, Ashley, can you give me your phone number so we could be in contact? I asked. Ashley then asked for my phone so she could insert her number in it. "Oh, your phone is very cool. Where'd you get it from?" she asked. "It's not mine. It's my boyfriend's. But thanks," I said. She smiled and started to type in her number, and as she was typing it, the number showed up as an already existing contact. How is that possible? She looked at me without continuing the number and said, "And who is your boyfriend exactly?" I don't know how that is possible." I ran out of there and went home. As I was walking home, I went past the street and decided to look behind that dumpster again. And there was a phone number written on it, so I decided to call it. When someone picked up, I said with a shaky voice, "Hello? Hello? Melissa? Melissa, is that you? Honey, it's me. It's me, your mom." "Mom? I thought you were in prison," I replied as tears were running down my cheeks. "No, who told you that?" she asked confusedly. "Ashley did," I said while crying. "Ashley? Ashley is dead. She died a long time ago," she said. "How did she die? What happened with her? But just now I saw her," I screamed. Then silence took over between us for a while. Then my mom replied with this one word that ruined my life. You killed her thinking it was the priest." My mind went blank and I couldn't speak. I couldn't even breathe. I started to have a panic attack. My body went numb, and then I fainted. A while after, I opened my eyes and saw a room that I haven't seen before. It was a very pretty room with a lot of medicine packets and needles on the desk. There was also a chair, a mirror, and very cute wall decorations. The ceiling was painted light blue with clouds just like the sky. I stood up and thought to myself that this room reminds me of something. I walked up to the door and put my hand on the doorknob. I opened the door and saw a living room and 3 people sitting in it. I went closer and sat at the end of the couch next to them. I turned my head to them and saw my parents and Ashley sitting and watching TV. "Hello?" I said. But they didn't even look at me. So I stood up and screamed, "Look at me!" And right after, I woke up.